Everyone, welcome to another episode of the Darnell Weeks Show. And today, for all the bold and the beautiful fans, I have a very special guest. You know him as Carter Walton from the Bold and the Beautiful, but before that, he was also known as Remy Boudreaux on the CBS hit soap opera Guiding Light. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Lawrence St. Victor. Mr. St. Victor, how are you?
I am well, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I guess my first question would be that every actor has an origin story, and
Hmm.
you are well known for your acting as well as being on the writing team of the iconic soap opera The Bold and the Beautiful. But before you gained recognition, you were simply known as Lawrence St. Victor. Can you please share with us your origin story? How did this all come about?
Wow. Well, I've always admired acting, but it was nothing I ever thought was really possible as a kid. You know, you kind of see it on TV and in movies, but it's never something you think that can actually happen because I didn't know any actors. So when I was 18, I went to a junior college and was like, you know what? I want to give this a shot. So I became a performing arts major, did like 10 plays, took all the acting classes I could there, and I wound up falling in love with it. And then from there, I went to a conservatory at SUNY Purchase where I studied acting more intensively, and I got my butt whooped. That thing was boot camp, but
Yeah.
I still loved it, and it taught me the respect for the craft. And then while in college, I would my first acting job ever was an extra on Guiding Light, and
Wow. What
yeah,
year was that?
that had to be it had to be like 2001, maybe
Really?
2000.
You
Yeah,
you so
I was like 18.
you weren't even officially a part of the show and you were already
No,
on the show.
it was an
Wow.
extra. I was in
Okay.
the background in the diner.
Wow. Okay.
And got to meet some of the actors because you're kind of sitting there waiting all day long, and Jordy, who is now on Beyond the Gates.
Hmm.
He's been in a million things. I remember significantly because he was playing Tony Santos at the time
Yes.
on Guiding Light, and I was in the waiting room, and he sat with me, and he just told me his experience and what it is to be a young working actor, and he was really sweet and wonderful to me. So it was a wonderful experience. So then you flash forward 5 or 6 years later, I'm in my third year at the conservatory, and I'm doing a play, 6 Degrees of Separation. There was a
Hmm.
movie of it that starred Will Smith, and I invited that casting director from Guiding
Yeah.
Light to come to the play. And that's the cool thing about New York. If you're in a good school or in a good theater, they might come out and check out your play. And I went to a good school, and the school was attached to a really good theater. So he came out to see the play, and he loved me in it. And from there, we started just like talking, and he had me come in and do a read for the executive producer. Um, and then nothing. And then a year later, in my senior year there, they said that they wanted me to come on Guiding Light, and that's kind of what started the whole thing. So I was doing Guiding Light in my fourth year while I was still at school. Now the conservatory had a strict no work outside of school policy. So for the last 3 or 4 months of school, I was like running out of school into Manhattan and running back to school in Westchester, keeping it all a secret. Planning like by the time I start airing on television, we should be around graduation, so I should be fine because they would kick you out of the school for that.
Hmm.
It all worked out, and yeah, that's kind of what started the whole thing to make a long story sort of short.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like I said, man, I'm just happy to be here. I am in total awe right now. I'm going to try and remain as professional as I could possibly be.
You're doing great, man. I'm having a good time.
Well, same here, same here. When I reached out for your appearance on the show, I informed your manager that our discussion would cover you being an actor and a writer.
Hmm.
So you made your debut on Guiding Light in 2006 and you stayed until its finale in 2009. Now, when you first joined Guiding Light, did any of the actors offer you advice? And if so, what was that advice and do you still apply it today?
I would say there was unspoken advice, like just because you're dealing with a bunch of actors who have been around a while and also like come from theater.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really coming in and just studying what they do and how they approach the work and how seriously they take it. And they took it seriously, man. Like they were workhorses. And it was a wonderful, fun, enjoyable environment. Like we laughed all the time. But I learned really quick what it was like to be professional just by watching them. And not just them, like every department, like Joe Cola, a wonderful
Mm-hmm.
makeup artist. We would just have long talks about manhood and professionalism and just a life. So there wasn't like a specific, let me sit you down and give you a lecture. It was more so just learning by watching how they moved through space and the show. Um,
Was it somebody specifically that you
all of
learned
them,
from? Okay.
all of them, like Robert Newman, who played Josh.
Mm-hmm.
I learned just how just being a quiet leader. He
Yeah.
had just this presence and just and gentleness, just a wonderful, sweet, gentle guy.
Yeah.
But his power just came from this quiet, stoic leadership. And then you had like Kim Zimmer, who
Yeah.
just was like hungry for life and the energy. Like if you thought like Riva, like Kim, just her energy, she walks in a room and you can just feel it. But again, just laughs and joy. And then Frank DeCopolis, who played
Mm-hmm.
Frank Cooper, who was just
Yeah.
like the best big brother you'd ever want. Same thing with Rob Bogue, just laughs.
Yeah.
And then Crystal Chappelle, who is so fun and silly, but has this quiet laser beam. So like everyone had this
Yeah.
wonderful thing. And I was there with Tom Pelfrey, and to see someone around my age be
Yeah.
so fearless when doing a soap opera out of school. He's very similar to me. He came to Guiding Light right out of Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in a school environment, it's like, you're rehearsing a play for 6 weeks. You're in the class with the same people for 4 years, and jumping onto a soap, it's a completely different environment. It's the polar opposite. And to see him have so much freedom in something where for me in the beginning, I felt so confined and restrained. Like I felt like so limited. I didn't know what to do. And seeing him be so fearless, it was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, we can do that here too, huh? So I honestly, I learned from everyone,
Oh,
every single person.
Tom Pelfrey is great. He nailed Jonathan Randall. He killed that role. He really
Well,
did.
well, he killed it from its inception. Like I don't know if you know the story. I think they've talked about it before, but when he first auditioned for the role, I believe Kim Zimmer was like, "No, I don't think that's him." And for that reason, they hired him because he
Wow.
made her feel uncomfortable. And they wanted that from Jonathan. Like if you look at Tom Pelfrey's work on Guiding Light, it's
Yeah.
not the traditional young 20-year-old soap hunk character.
No,
Even
no,
as a
not at
bad boy,
all.
it's not. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of the antithesis of soap.
Yeah.
So what Tom was able to do was something that I feel like wasn't done before.
Oh, he made Jonathan crazy. Jonathan was crazy.
Jonathan was crazy, and you see it in Tom's work even to this day. It's the fragile, aggressive vulnerability. It's the
Yeah.
vulnerability
Yeah.
that made you fall in love with him. And watching him work that way, it was like, oh, okay, there's room for it all here. There's room
Yeah.
for it all.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, just learn from everyone, and I mean it. And I'm leaving off way too many people. The wonderful actors who played my sister Ivana, the woman who played my mother,
Hmm.
Kim, like just the immediate feeling of oh, these are my family. Like day one, I was calling, I was calling her mom for real. I still
Yeah,
call her mom.
yeah,
So yeah, it was just a wonderful, loving, creative, very focused environment.
yeah. I love Guiding Light, and I wish it was still on the air. But you know what? We have you on the Bold and the Beautiful. So
Hmm.
you know what? That brings me to my next question. And as I said, you reached a significant milestone in your writing career, which we will discuss shortly. However, I want to focus on a notable event from August of 2025 when The Bold and the Beautiful moved from CBS Television City to Sunset Las Palmas Studios. Can you describe what the experience was like for you?
It was it was very it was wonderfully strange
I like
because
that. Wonderfully strange.
because the soap opera, and this happened on Guiding Light too, when we were in the
Oh, okay.
studio, because we were in the studio during my tenure anyway. We were in the
Hmm.
studio, and then we moved to shooting on location in Peapack, New Jersey,
Yeah.
right? And there's something about a soap opera that is unchanging. Even from
Yeah.
the way we shoot it, like things aren't supposed to change. They evolve slowly, but don't change. So
Yeah.
whenever there's a big change, it's pretty wonderful for me because that
Hmm.
makes the people that are there from day one and the people that started today, we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
This is all our first day at this studio. This is all our first day shooting with these new lights. This is all our first day working with this new design team. So it kind of like it shakes it up in a wonderful way. And I say strange because, like I said, soaps are supposed to be consistent from the way we produce it to the way you watch it. So anytime there's a big shift, it's wonderful because everyone is on the same page in that moment. And it's
Yeah.
great. And I love the studio. The studio's amazing. We have way more space, which
Well,
means we can tell more. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say, how did you feel when you learned that the show would be relocating to a completely different venue?
I didn't believe it at first. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll see it I'll believe it when I see it because there was talks for a while. And like I said, like soaps don't change too much. And I knew how much that move, it's a big move, man. It's a big
Hmm.
move. I still don't even know how we did it in 7 weeks. I say they did it in 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, so at first I was like, oh, okay. And then when it was happening, I was like, wow, and excited. I was very excited because we were getting more space. So
Yeah.
more studio space means more sets. More
Yeah.
sets means we can tell more stories.
Yeah.
If we want to tell a hospital story in the old space, but we can't tell a hospital story and a Spencer publication story, because how do we house those two giant sets, right?
Yeah.
You can't have Carter's loft up and have this set up at the same time, but now we have way more space, so we can tell stories and mix up our settings. It just allows us to do a bit more.
Hmm.
So very, very excited. And then walking around like CBS Television City is a wonderful facility that has, a lot of history, man. So much, the Carol Burnett show, so much history there, but it is a broadcast center. Whereas Sunset, it's a movie studio. We're on a studio lot. So it just gives you that old kind of Hollywood feel that we didn't
Yeah.
get at Television City.
Well,
So it's great, man.
what did they say to you? Like, how did they announce it to you personally? Do you remember what they said?
I think it might have been an email that went to every department. And yeah, and then I think department heads went to go check out the space. And
Hmm.
then we were all like trying to pull information out of them. Like, let me see the videos, let me see the pictures. So what do you think? What do you think? Because by
Yeah.
that point, like we're moving there, but we don't know. So the studio we moved into, we have two studios. The studio
Hmm.
we moved into, it was bare bones, right? There's no
Yeah.
lights, there's no grid, there's no nothing. It's just an open space.
Hmm.
So upon moving in, like we were excited, but we had a lot of questions. Like, so where's this going to be? Where's that going to be? Like we knew we were going, but we didn't know what it was going to look like. So we were just,
Yeah.
asking a million questions and asking, the department heads who got to take a tour of it. So like, where do you think care is going to be? Where's makeup going to be? All right, where are the dressing rooms? So this space is how big? How, it's just a million questions.
Wow. I'm just enjoying hearing these stories. That's why I'm stretching out the questions. If I could, I would have even asked you, what did you eat for lunch on that day if I could have, you know.
Dude, well, that day we had, I don't remember that day, but I'll tell you the day that we had like our ribbon cutting ceremony,
Hmm.
they brought in this burger truck, and let me tell you something. It was really cool
Yeah.
because like if Television City, that was like high school, right? So you're in
Hmm.
this big building, and we're our office is on the third floor, and dressing rooms could be on the first floor over here and over there. So you can go like once without even seeing people because you may never really pass them. And
Hmm.
you might be able to eat in commissary or you'll eat off the premises, whereas Sunset, it's like a college campus. So even though
Yeah.
the different buildings are in different spaces, you run into each other all the time. So the ribbon
Yeah.
cutting day, we're all outside, Brad Bell included, eating burgers and just sitting around outside like one big outside picnic.
Yeah.
And it just immediately it felt like home. And yeah, and we see each other all. I see more people now than I've seen in like 10 years, just because you just cross paths way easier here, which is
Yeah.
wonderful.
That sounds great, man. It really
Hmm.
does. I'm enjoying this conversation. And next I want to ask you, now you joined the show in 2013, and you've been a very significant part of this team. You're part of a family now, but in 2021, according to my research, that's when you joined the writing team. Now, what has your transition from cast member to writing uh partner been like so far? What has it been like for you, and what was the most challenging story for you to write, and why?
It's been pretty seamless the transition because so I officially was like 2021, like you said.
Hmm.
But back in 2000, like 15, well, let me tell you a very long story. So when I
Sure.
first joined Bold and the Beautiful, before I was cast, I met with Brad Bell. We sat down and we
Hmm.
just chatted. And Carla Mosley and I, who is now on Beyond the Gates, who played Maya
Hmm.
on Bold and the Beautiful, as well as Christina on Guiding Light,
Yeah.
after Guiding Light ended, we wanted to still work with each other, and we created a little web series called Wedlocked. It was like YouTube was still new. We made like 5 or 6 episodes. So flash forward years later, I'm in Brad's office and we're just chatting. And I grew up watching Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful because my aunt would come in and just turn
Yeah.
off whatever I was watching and rewatching the story. So I was
Oh,
telling him
believe me,
about
I
Lauren,
know.
and you know
Yeah.
what it is. Like you had a
Yeah.
whole plan that afternoon, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, I
And I was
know.
just captivated with Lauren and Sheila and the fact they were going back between two shows. I just thought that
Yeah.
was amazing. As a kid, so what do you mean these characters are all on both shows? I don't know why.
It's
It just kind of blew my mind.
And that's the crazy
Um,
thing, and I got to be careful with Zoom because I only got 40 minutes. I hope we can extend it somehow. But anyway, uh, that's what I want to ask you, if you don't mind. For somebody to watch soap operas, right? They
mhm.
watch them and they're so invested in them, and now they're a part of that world. What is that like for you, sir?
It's weird. It's
Yeah.
still weird. It's weird to be on a show and see people that you kind of grew up with. It's a weird dream pinch me moment. I remember the first time I met Kimberlyn, who plays Sheila. It was like
Oh my God,
I'm
was that
scratching my
scary?
head.
Were you
No,
afraid?
she's sweet. She's sweet as pie. She is sweet as
Okay.
pie, and disarming and charming the second you meet her. You fall in love with her the
Okay.
second you see her. But
Yeah.
it was so strange because I'm like, yo, like I was watching you, and
That's
then
crazy.
and then we called my aunt because my aunt's a massive Sheila fan, and like she spoke to my
Yeah.
aunt. So it's like these two worlds were like coming together, and my brain is
Yeah.
like, how is this happening? Like my aunt shut off my cartoons to watch you, and now I'm in scenes with
That's
you.
what I'm
This is
saying.
bizarre. And it was
That's
before I wanted to be an actor, right? So it's
yeah.
really trippy.
That's what
um,
it's like for me right now, because
oh,
when you came in, in 2006, like I said, before we started recording, I was like, okay, whatever. This new guy's playing Remy. And then now I've become so invested in Carter and I'm tweeting about your character and the takeover and Hope Logan. And now I'm really pulling for you, you know, your character. And like I
Yeah,
said, I'm trying to be as professional as I can be, but I'm getting so emotional right now because I'm really rooting for your character, Lawrence. I really am. I'm
I
pulling
appreciate
for
that.
him. You
I
know,
appreciate that.
I'm really pulling for him because he has been
He's been
just
through a
put
lot.
through the ringer. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
been through a lot.
yeah,
And yeah, and I think that's what's so special about just storytelling in general. But it's like when we get to have these moments like we're having now, like I had with Kimberlyn, um, where it's like, oh, you are a real person. And you
yeah,
are, yeah,
yeah.
it's hard to put into words, man. It really is. But yeah, so yes, but because of that, like when I was talking to Brad, he was like, "You know our show." I'm like, "Yeah, I know your show." And then he started talking about Wedlocked, what what
Mm-hmm.
I created with Carla, and he said he
Yeah.
loved it. He loved the writing. So from that point on, joining the show, Brad and I would always have these moments where we talking about stories and writing, and I would ask him I asked him a million questions, and then we would
Mm-hmm.
talk about Bold and nothing deep. I'm not pitching stories, we're just talking story.
Yeah.
So he liked Wedlock, so he thought about making like Roommate, this web series that
Yeah.
Carter and Maya would be in, which was sort of inspired by Wedlock, and it was on the show. And then he asked me, like, do you want to make it for real? Like, we can make a web series for CBS.com. You can write it. And I was like, cool. And then Carl and I, we wrote the series and they built sets for us to do it. So that's kind of what started the conversation about like me writing. And then I was in his office talking stories. And he's like, do you want to write a script? I'm like, yeah, this is like 2015. So I
Mm-hmm.
wrote a couple sample scripts, got notes, and then I wrote maybe three or four scripts that went on air between 2015 and 16 or 17. And then
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of that. So then when I came back on the show full time in 2020, 2021, he was like, hey, you want to write again? You want to? And that's where it's been like consistent. And
Yeah.
I would say the transition's seamless. I had a big learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
We have wonderful writers on our show who's been doing this for decades. So
Yeah.
I had to catch up. But where I get my superpower comes from being on set all day long and
Mm-hmm.
hearing the actors work out their characters and watch them in real time make
Mm-hmm.
discoveries. So I'm able to be there and see what they're doing, and I get to interpret that into my writing. Um, where some of the other writers, they'll have to they watch the air show, which is
Yeah.
amazing. But I get to actually be on set and watch them figure their scenes out and watch Torsten figure Ridge out and see what he figures out and then apply that to what I'm writing.
Yeah.
Um, which is great. And your other question, there hasn't been a difficult storyline specifically. It's just some episodes are more challenging than others, but
Yeah.
not a specific storyline. Because we all write each other's storylines. Like, you get assigned a script and Carter can be in it, Liam can be in it. It could be a takeover, or it could be Sheila's dead, is she alive? Like we write all of them.
Yeah.
So it's not a specific story that was challenging. It's just some scripts are just more challenging than others.
But let me ask you this, and not to put you on the spot, but fans have
Mm.
noticed that Carter hasn't exactly had the best of luck. So as a writer, were you ever tempted to make Carter look good?
No,
Really?
no, the opposite. No, no, because when I'm writing, I don't even think of Carter any different than any other character. Like when I'm writing, I get to be all of them. I get to
Yeah,
be Bill. I get to be Ridge. I get to be Brooke.
that's
So I don't
true.
look at Carter. So I'm experiencing the scene. Like if I'm in the
Yeah.
scene with Carter,
Mm-hmm.
I want him to be in the high. So like I wrote a scene where Carter and Ridge had their confrontation,
Yeah.
after during the takeover when they
Mm-hmm.
admitted that they missed each other. I got to write that scene,
Yeah.
and in that scene, no, I wanted Ridge to put Carter in his place and say, "I thought we were brothers, man. I thought when we got older, we'd be on a park bench talking about the good times.
Yeah.
Like you ruined it." And I
Yeah.
want Carter to sit in it and think about the
Yeah.
decisions he's made. And he gets emotional because he's like, I did ruin it, but I ruined it for love. And he's like, she doesn't love you. Hope is just using you. No, she's not. So for me, it's
Yeah.
about the scene. It's not about Carter looking good. It's about the honesty in the scene. Um, that's what I enjoy.
Well,
Not not
do
yeah.
do you watch social media? Have you looked at Twitter and looked at the
Uh
fans and said, "Oh, they're
I,
not happy"?
I'll say no, I don't look. Of course I do. We all do.
Yeah.
Um, I don't like fans not being happy doesn't bother me as long as they're not happy about the right thing,
Right.
right? So fans not being happy that Carter keeps losing, I'm
Yeah.
like, well, he's not happy either.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good thing to not be
That.
happy about. If you're
Yeah.
if they're unhappy that Carter keeps rushing into love, I'm like, well, that's his character flaw. That's
Yeah.
his flaw, and I love that he has that flaw. We all, because we as humans, we all have that flaw. And Carter has a anxious attachment style. His heart is on his sleeve, and there is a hole in his heart. And when he
Mm-hmm.
falls for someone, believe me, if he can control it and just play it cool, he would.
Yeah.
He literally can't.
Yeah.
And that's fun to play. I'm sure it's very frustrating to watch, but that's the jelly. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
you see a guy you care about running on the railroad tracks, and as in the audience, you can see the trains coming, but he can't. And to me, that's fun to watch. Frustrating, but fun to watch.
And I want to thank you again so much for being here because the fans are going to go nuts. When they see this, they're going to go crazy. They're going to go crazy like I'm going crazy right now. I'm
You're
trying to be
too kind.
professional. I'm trying to be professional. I'm so sorry. Um, but I
You're too
guess
kind.
my final question would be with your role on Guiding Light as Remy and then on The Bold and the Beautiful as Carter, you've made a significant impact in daytime television, and now you've transitioned into a new project which is called Higher Love, which is it says
Yeah.
that it tells the story of a man facing crisis with his wife's severe health problems. What is it like being listed among Thelma Hopkins and Dennis Haysbert, actors
Oh
of that
man,
caliber? What is that like?
amazing. And it's amazing that, they played my parents. So I got
Mm-hmm.
to have like really cool intimate time with them. And Talma, like day one, because Talma, she watches Bold and the Beautiful, so she knew who
Okay.
I was.
Yeah.
And Brighton, they were on Family Matters together, and he's on Young and the
Yeah.
Restless. So she did Young and the Restless as well. So as soon as
Mm-hmm.
I came in, I was like, Mom. I was like,
Yeah.
Mom. It was just
Yeah.
love immediately. And Dennis, talk about like strength and presence. Like I'm
Yeah.
a big guy. I'm a big dude. And I walk in the room and he's towering over me. And I'm like, that's dad. That is
Yeah.
dad. And
Yeah.
his performance in this film is just heartbreaking because to see a man with so much power and strength have to deal with, like you said, is his wife's health issues and how much that breaks him. So it's just like a master class in watching the
Yeah.
fragility of this leading man. It was an amazing experience. And I can't wait for people to see it. I've been very fortunate this year. I shot that film and I also shot a Christmas movie called Dancer and Prancer that hopefully is coming out next
Okay.
Christmas.
And without
Um,
giving too much away, what can we expect to see in this film Higher Love? What can we expect?
I think you can expect it just poses an interesting question because
Mm-hmm.
Dennis's character, his wife goes to a facility,
Mm-hmm.
caretaking facility, and he visits her every single day. And while he's there, he meets a woman whose husband is in the caretaking facility,
Yeah.
and they kind of start to have a bond. but both of their spouses are still very much alive, although not fully here.
Yeah.
And I guess it poses a question: is it okay to engage in this bond when you're still married? But what if
Uh-oh.
your spouses aren't still here
Uh-oh.
fully?
That
And I'm
sounds
not saying
very interesting.
it
Oh
just
boy.
it poses the question, and it's a sweet
Yeah.
film. It's a very
Yeah.
sweet film. It's partially a true story. It's our director's true story. He dealt with this with
Okay.
his mother and his father. My
Wow.
character is our director. He's the
Yeah.
son.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it just poses an interesting question. And then I think when you watch it, people are going to have their own opinions about where they
Well,
stand.
where is this going to air?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
It's still in post production. I hope that it'll find a home this year for sure. I think
Okay.
it's very important. I think the performances are really strong. It's a very sweet film. So
Now I know.
hopefully soon.
Okay. Now I know that you are active on Instagram, so
hmm
I follow you there. Are you active on Twitter?
Not really. I'm on
Okay.
it, and every now and then I'll repost something, but not as much. It's just too much. It's just too much. It's just too
Right.
much. But I do go on it to read stuff. I am actively on it as a
And so
watcher.
the fans can follow you on Instagram, right?
Yeah, that's where you'll get the replies back. Is
Okay.
Instagram.
And
Yeah,
what is your Instagram handle?
at L Saint Vic.
Okay, I like that. By the way, I think I saw. I meant to tell you, I like that. I like El Saint Vic. It sounds like a hip
L
hop
Saint
name or
Vic.
something. Sounds like a hip hop name or something like that. Mr. Saint Victor, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
on the
man.
show. What can fans of Bold? What can they expect? What's coming up next for Carter?
Well, Carter, it's looking like Carter's going to finally get what he wants.
Wow.
It seems as though anything can happen, but
All
it
right.
seems as though he might be getting married. And he's been
Yes.
engaged a lot before, so we've been here before. We've seen he has so many wedding rings in his, dresser drawer. Um, but Daphne seems to love him. And
Mm-hmm.
more importantly, she is one of the only women he's been with the exception of Paris,
Yeah.
who didn't have this other love that Carter's
Mm-hmm.
kind of stepping in behind.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Darnell Weeks Show. You've been listening with our guest, Mr. Lawrence St. Victor. Lawrence, thank you for being here.
My absolute pleasure.
If you have any questions about the show or you would like to be booked as a guest on the show, you can email me at darnellweekshow@gmail.com. Once again, that's darnellweekshow@gmail.com. Thank you.